How's it going, everybody? My name is Infamous Isaac, and I'm here with the video I should have done a couple days ago, but I haven't gotten around to until today. And that video is the Steins video on the original series, the anime original series. And this anime covers the first Steins game, which is literally just called Steins. It goes all the way from the beginning to the end of the visual novel, and I'm here to state my opinions on it, going over what I like, what I don't like, so on and so forth. That's usually what I do with these videos, so let's go forward. Let's go on with it. One thing I noticed, right, since I usually watch anime on Hulu when we don't sail the seven seas for it, and it's expiring in 13 days, which really sucks. Really sucks because it's one of my favorite shows. I don't know where else to watch it unless if it's like on Crunchyroll or something. Since they did the merge with Funimation, so maybe it's there. But if not, then I'll always have my memories with it. But Steins Gate original, has one of my favorite openings to like an anime ever because it follows the game one for one. It brings it to life, and this anime really does bring the game to life. Like, if the game wasn't already good enough with the way it just entrances you in what it's saying, like you can imagine what the game is saying for the most part. When it's not the science fiction stuff, you can imagine it. When it is the science fiction stuff, if you don't know about it, it's hard to imagine. But with the anime, you can see it for yourself, and the anime itself is not a bad looking show at all, especially for it being like released in 2010. It's not a bad looking show at all. Obviously, it's aged, so it's not the best looking thing that you've ever seen, but it definitely holds up for being 12 years old. And the way it starts is amazing. Oof, man, just starting in the middle of Akihabara and just being in the sunlight, in Okabe and Mayuri being, oh my gosh, bro. The first episode is, I love it so much because of what it means for the series. Because the first episode is important, and we'll get into that later. And one of the reasons for that is time travel, right? And I'm going to go into spoilers. I will put that in the title, but I'm not going to go into like crazy spoilers like plot twists and all that. But yeah, let's go with the story first. The story, I love it. I love the story because even if it's science fiction and it may not be your favorite genre of like fiction, it's enjoyable no matter what because science fiction isn't the whole thing about it. And even then, it's still explained in a good way, so you can follow along at least a little bit. But even when I was watching this when I was younger, the science fiction, the science fiction didn't lose me too much. I was enjoying it all the way through because I was gripped by the characters and the story. And the science fiction was a nice touch, definitely a nice touch for the story. But overall, from the beginning to the end, I don't have any gripes with the anime story because unlike Zero, the anime follows the story well because of the fact that it's a singular story with endings only branching off to just be that character endings. So the anime itself can do a good job following the story because it's a singular thing you can follow. It's not hard to get the true ending into anime format when it's right there for you. So the show itself is based off of the true ending, which good heavens, it should be. But itself, my favorite parts really go into, well, not even my favorite parts. It's just Steins Gate itself is a slow burn of an anime in the beginning, and there's a reason for that. So episode 1 to episode 8 around there. Well, episode 1 to episode 8 to 13 around there, depending on who you ask, are kind of slowish episodes because you're getting time to know the characters, understand the goals, ambitions of people, seeing what they're like, meeting more characters, just getting acclimated with the world, right? And if you're, normal, everyday person who lives in the 21st century, it's not much to get used to because you've lived through this. Even if you're from Japan or not, if you live in Akihabara or not, you've lived through this part of life, so you can get used to it somewhat quickly. But the first 8 to 13 episodes are slow because of that. So if you're not into that type of show, then it's not for you, you know. This show isn't for everybody, and I don't mean that in the sense of like, oh, it's just too good for you. It's just if you don't like slow starts to shows, then you just don't like it, and that's just the fact of the matter. There's no other way to put it, you know. And I liked it because I don't mind slow starts to shows as long as the payoff is worth it. And to me, the payoff was 100% worth it. Like if I'm investing my time into this, and the start is slow, like all right, if the start is slow and it's good, then all right, that's cool. If the start is slow and it's good, then all right, whatever. I can go through it. Whether I rewatch it or not, that's also up for debate. But you know, the payoff as well is a contributor to that. So I enjoyed it. I sifted through the slow start, and I got rewarded with it with a good, great even anime. But for people who are trying to get into this, it is a slow start. So be warned. If you don't like it, you know, might as well drop it. If it's not your type, if it's not your cup of tea, then of course you wouldn't continue doing something like that. Because if everybody says this show is great, this show is great, but you don't like the beginning, all right, then you don't have to watch it. But that leads me to the second half of the show, episode 13 onward. This is where some plot twists are shown, and some characters are revealed to be not characters that you really know too well, and things like the plot starts moving forward. Things start moving fast, and this is the payoff that I'm talking about. You know, we get to see our main character Okabe Rintaro struggle, like on some Luffy type struggle. It is pain because this man is working so hard for his goal, and he's getting burned for his previous actions in the previous episodes. But luckily, his actions in the previous episodes influence what he's able to do in the future. So if Okabe wasn't himself throughout the entire thing, he wouldn't have been able to win whatsoever. But the second half of the show definitely is my favorite, but not by a lot. I love both sides of the story. I love the beginning because it just gives us so much time to learn and grow with the characters. The moments are so cute. The characters are so wholesome, except for Daru because he's just a pervert, but he's also cool. So, like, I enjoy mostly every character in this show. And if I don't like one character, I just tolerate them, or I'm neutral about them. I don't find them offensive. Like Moeka, you know, she's a character that didn't get a lot of development in the story, where she gets more development in Steins Gate Zero. But for this game, I don't dislike her at all. I think she's just a normal character. I don't I don't find anything wrong with her. She does have character flaws, but not because like the story just made them that way. It's really just her as a person. Like she's flawed. But overall, like the characters, I can enjoy every single one of them, or or I'm neutral about one of them. Like I'll talk about the main cast later, but you have Mr. Braun, you know, cool character with some really cool lore. You have Moeka Kiryu, who's she's alright. No, nothing crazy, nothing bad either. Then you have Lukaku, who I like. I think he's funny, which is a spoiler, a huge spoiler. Who, when you're watching this, don't remember that name. But yeah, Lukaku, they're cool. You have Ferris. I think Ferris is cool. Some people may not like her, but I think that Ferris is pretty cool. I enjoy her to a certain amount. Then you have Suzuha, who I love. I think Suzuha is great. Not my favorite character, but Suzuha is pretty good. You have Daru, who's good, but he gets his character more in Zero, which is something that you'll see me saying a lot later on. But Daru, he's good, but for the most part, he's just there. He's definitely a plot device most times with how good he is at hacking, but he's good. He's definitely good. Who else was there? Oh, you have Mr. Braun's daughter, Nai. She's alright. No, nothing crazy. Nai is. Okay, and then you have Mayuri. Mayuri, one of my favorite characters in this show. Some people may not like her because of her cheery attitude or just the way that she speaks, her mannerisms. But I'm in the Mayuri camp. I do like her. So let me see. Am I missing anybody? Am I missing anybody? Am I missing anybody? Nope, I'm not missing anybody. All right. Well, next is uh Christina, aka uh, I forgot her name actually. Wow, that's crazy. Uh, okay, where are you? Kurisu, Maki say Kurisu. There you go. She's the best girl in the show. Whether you like her or not, she is the best girl in the show because even the game thinks that. So like they made sure that she is the canon romance interest, you know, and they had to make her likable because she's a tsundere. And you know, whether you like it or not, we did step into a war with the Cabal on Mars, and Makise was the ringleader. Tsunderes are likable if you like tsunderes. If you don't like tsunderes, you think they're the worst characters in the entire show. But if you do like tsunderes, you can get over it. I like tsunderes, you know. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. Well, there is something wrong with them, but once you get to know that side, once you peel the layer, they're really cool characters. I love them. But then you have the main character himself, Okabe Rintaro, my favorite character in the entire show. I love Okabe. He is my favorite character. He has so much personality, so much character, so much growth from the story, so many trials and tribulations that he goes through. He's a human. He's legit just a person. And it shows every time that he does something in his show. He's flawed, just like any of us. He's a 19 or 20-year-old kid going through stuff like this. He's just a normal dude, you know. He's going to college. He's struggling, but he's trying to make it through. He's believing in what he believes in. He's not used to anything that's going on here because he's just again a normal Japanese kid. And I love it. I love it so much. He finds the resolve to keep going through his friends and himself. But Okabe wouldn't have made it to the end if it wasn't for him being himself. Okabe Rintaro, Hohin Kyoma, which is his Chunbyu side, they wouldn't have made it out if it wasn't for them being who they are. And the story definitely rewards that, and I love it so much for it. Yeah, the music is good. I like the intro, I like the outro. I like just the normal music there, the atmospheric, the ambiance, all that. It's good. I enjoy it. The animation again, like I said, it's alright. Like a 5 out of 10. Nothing crazy, nothing bad, just good. Okay to good around there. You have there's no fight since it's not a shonen. It's like a science fiction thriller. But the plot points, my favorite plot point. I won't spoil what it is, but it's the one near the end where Okabe has to choose between A and B, blue and red. I definitely like that one because if you're really interested in the show, you might forget what happens in the first episode. So it makes that twist a little bit like, wow, this was great. But overall, like the Steins anime, it itself is one of the best I've ever seen. It is in my top 3 spots every time I list like my favorite anime. It's definitely one that doesn't leave the top spot. And it's been there ever since One Piece was there. It's been there ever since Full Metal Alchemist was there, since Kill la Kill, so on and so forth. Like it's earned its spot up there, and that includes Zero. But I will talk about Zero in a separate video, so that'll be coming soon. But Steins Gate original, the anime itself, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Like overall, an 8 out of 10, and at its best, it's a 9. At its worst, it's a 6 to 7. Overall, it's an 8 to me. Like I love this show. This is one of my favorite shows ever. One of my favorite games ever. Like it's just good. I love it. It's like regular show, anything but. It's awesome though. If I had to recommend it to anybody, it would definitely be people who enjoy story-driven shows. Even if it has a slow start, the characters and the story can keep you going. Because it definitely kept me going, and I've appreciated the slow start now. Like I've never really looked at it like that and be like, yo, it does have a slow start, but I don't, but and I dislike it. No, it has a slow start and I still like it. It's the reason why it's still my favorite show ever, or not my favorite show, one of my favorite shows. And I can only talk so good about it with the time that we have, because I could go on for hours if I was talking with spoilers completely, and but we're not. So we're gonna have to cut it here for now. This has been me talking about Steins for however long I've talked about it. I hope you all enjoy as always. Next, I'm gonna be talking about Steins Zero, and that's gonna be a fun one. Hope you all are here for that. Hope you all are safe. You're doing good, and I'll check y'all out. Peace.